Christmas Angel is a Christmas film from 2009. This is directed by Brough and stars Davison, Kari Hawker-Diaz, and Clyde. And it's a pretty decent film. It's certainly very inspiring. It's definitely inspirational. With regards to the narrative, it's not too bad. It's a little emotional in places. The romantic aspect was fine. I didn't love it. And I have to say, our protagonist actually is a little annoying at times. She's not unlikable, but there were times when I didn't necessarily agree with her attitudes. And it's not so much that she had a bad attitude, but she then develop as a character. That absolutely does happen. But there were just times when I didn't love her. But looking past that, it's not a bad film. Ashley, needing a job, agrees to work for her neighbour Nick. Nick is very wealthy, living below his means, and every year he does anonymous good deeds. And I love that as a concept of doing good deeds for other people, using the wealth that life has allowed you to accumulate for the benefit of others, but on top of that, doing it anonymously. Obviously, there's a personal satisfaction that comes with doing things for other people, but when you don't do it for credit, I think that that's just so beautiful. And Ashley agrees to help him out, basically with Secret Santa. And he's giving these gifts with Ashley's help to people who need it, whether that's giving them food, toys for children, helping them out in any way he can. And there is a love interest who's also a bit of an antagonist with William, played by Clyde, who is a journalist, and he is trying to write a story about Nick when he kind of accidentally finds out that Nick is doing this. But obviously this is not something Ashley wants him to do because it's meant to be anonymous. And on top of that, Nick has some ailing health, potentially really serious health issues. And there's a lot going on, and there are a lot of things that could potentially make it quite emotional. Honestly, I feel like the romantic aspect took a back seat. It's there, it's definitely important to the narrative, but at the same time, I feel like I didn't care about it that much. I was more interested in this Secret Santa aspect and how much it advocates doing that. And William as a character, as much as he is potentially throwing a spanner in the works by not threatening, but wanting to write this article, he has the opportunity while growing this relationship with Ashley to learn about the joy and benefits of anonymously giving things to people that they really need. And whether or not he goes ahead with the article, I won't say, but I love the fact that the film is advocating anonymous gifts, because I think it's such a beautiful concept, doing things for other people when you don't get credit for it. As I said, there is that internal satisfaction of knowing you've done something nice for other people. But that aside, I think it's such a wonderful thing to support. And as I said, it's a really inspirational film. It made me want to go out and do what I can with the gifts that life has bestowed me to help other people. And if anybody watching it feels the same way and hopefully acts on that, that's a beautiful thing. The narrative is pretty well developed. I think the pacing is very good. The characters are generally good. Nick is amazing, played by Davison. Brilliant character. Really love the character. Ashley, as I said, is actually kind of annoying, and that's pretty much through the entire film. She does have some character development. There are some times when I think her negative attitudes were warranted, but I often found that she was actually more annoying than William, who was, planning on writing this article and exposing everything. And I don't know if that was meant to be the case, or if that's just how I feel and how I've responded. But that's something that's worth bearing in mind. She's not the easiest character to get on board with. But that aside, I really enjoyed it. It's never going to be my favourite film. I also feel like it could have been a bit more emotional. I feel like they could have put a little bit more heart into it. There were times when I felt like I should be crying. I should be crying right now. I cry at this kind of film all of the time. And I just didn't. I didn't shed a single tear. And I'm willing to say that maybe it's just the mood I'm in just now. But at the same time, it doesn't take much to make me cry at a heartfelt film like this. So I think a little bit more emotion would have been good. But either way, it's promoting a brilliant message, done with a narrative that's pretty well written, not completely predictable, and generally likable characters. Nick is such a brilliant character. that it kind of pulls up the average character quality when I don't like Ashley that much. So it's absolutely fine. If you haven't seen it and you like heartfelt Christmas films, Christmas Angel is definitely worth checking out. Not as emotional as I was hoping for, but generally a pretty beautiful message and ultimately one that I'm happy to recommend.